Hello and welcome once again to LATOKEN Venture Capital TV. We have a great project for you today here. And like in every session, we bring innovation, technologies, and solutions. And you get to hear it directly from the founder or the CEO of the project. Welcome. My name is Xavier. I'll be your host for today. And I would like to remind you that you are welcome to post your questions or comments in the chat box. Now, this is a unique opportunity because it's a great way to get to know the project. You can actually address any question to the CEO or the founder of the project, and that itself is quite unique. And that is why we're doing this. Now, before we move on to the interview, just as a reminder, you can see our previous shows and content by visiting latoken.com/vctv/shows. Also, please do follow us on our socials like Facebook and Twitter. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button because you always get informed of great content, opportunities, and even giveaways. One last reminder before we jump on the interview. Anything mentioned here is not any type of financial advice. Please do your research before making any decision. It's your choices and your responsibility. And with that said, I would like to welcome our project for today, Mr. Maxwell Andrew Thomas, founder and CEO of zaloots token. Max, very welcome. How are you?
Xavier, it's my pleasure, and hello to you and hello to all of the viewers.
Fantastic. Great having you here. I was reading the website, very interesting. A lot to do with a part of social media, which is something that really people are just digesting every day. But you have a little bit of a twist to it. So we're going to address that. But before we move on to that part, can you tell us a little bit about where you're from? Tell us about yourself, maybe the team.
Yeah, certainly. Well, as you can probably tell from the accent, I was born in Australia, but have traveled quite a lot over the years. I actually lived in Europe for 17 years as well. Currently, I'm based in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, but I'm currently in London. So as you can see, I travel all the time. I have a team of developers in the Philippines, in Manila in the Philippines, and we're on a recruiting drive at the moment. So I will be bringing more tech team and also business development on, also looking at setting up here in Europe. So born in Australia, spent 17 years in Europe, was originally involved in the travel industry for many years. So I started the first hop-on, hop-off coach service around Europe, taking backpackers, multiple countries, hopping on and off and having a bit of freedom, a bit like a Eurail pass for those that are familiar. So I started that and worked in the travel industry, went back to Australia, once again in the travel industry, but this time I got involved in loyalty programs. Mm-hmm. So I created my own travel business, travel agency, a licensed travel agency, and then I became a specialist provider of loyalty services to the major banks in Australia, but also including MasterCard. And during that period, I ran the MasterCard Moments program for Australia and New Zealand for 6 years. And that was providing special loyalty programs. A lot of it was travel related. With the banks, we provided certain special offers to their card holders. And so when I go on and explain a little bit about AppZaloot, the zaloots token, which is connected to the app, you'll understand that there's a loyalty component into the app. And there's a very good reason for that based on my background.
Okay, we're going to have a lot of questions, and also a reminder to our viewers, if you have any question, please do put them in the chat box and we'll be addressing them. For yourselves, if you want to get to know the project closer, please visit AppZaloot.com as you had featured there down at the banner. So great for that, Max. If you don't mind, I would like at this point, just as an introduction, to show a video that you have developed. Just as a way, introduction, I think, then we can start jumping on all the questions that we have ready. Is that okay?
Yes, certainly.
Perfect. Let's have a look at the video.
Welcome to AppZaloot, the new social media app putting social back into local. AppZaloot is a location-based social media app. We have a local feed that connects you to what's happening around you. You can adjust your radius from as little as 1 kilometer out to 25 kilometers and pick up what people are saying and doing within that selected area. So let's look at some examples you might use that for in this crisis. You could set your radius to 2 kilometers and put a message out saying, "Can anyone recommend a good plumber? Does anyone want to swap board games? I'm available to do chores or help with shopping if anyone needs. My dog has gone missing, please keep an eye out for her." I think you get the idea. Basically, you can ask the local community anything, or you can offer to help. Once things start going back to normal, there are other great uses for the local feed. It travels with you anywhere you go in the world. Imagine landing in London and asking the locals the best park for a walk. What about 2 German backpackers looking to share a ride from Byron Bay to Brisbane? It's a great way to connect with the community around you, anywhere you are. Another feature is our friends feed. Yep, I know it's being done already, but we do it differently at AppZaloot. Our friends feed lets you connect to your friends anywhere in the world, but with one major difference. We have no advertising in our feed at all. In fact, we won't put anything in your friends feed, ever. It is just for you and your friends to communicate the way it should be. It's clean and not cluttered with things that are not relevant to you. Stuck deciding what to do? Find local entertainment or a new place to eat with our local advertising feed. Don't worry, we don't push this at you. It is in a separate area and is categorized based on your interests. So think shopping, food, dining, takeaway, trades and services, or live entertainment, all in the radius that you have set for yourself. Just imagine looking up restaurants in your local area that might have a special on or a happy hour. Maybe you didn't even know they were there. What about excess bread from the baker at half price? How great for local businesses to have a platform to promote themselves to people in their local community. During the critical phase of the COVID-19 crisis, we will provide this advertising feature for free. It's our way of helping local businesses get back on their feet. Another important feature is our emergency alert system. You will get trusted emergency notifications from the relevant authorities, but only if you're in the affected area. So here are some of those scenarios. A police incident, weather event, fire, power outage, COVID-19 hotspot, public transport disruption, or a traffic accident. Basically anything that might affect you, you will be notified. This alert system will work anywhere you go in the world, keeping you in the know wherever you go. AppZaloot does business in a completely different way. We pledge to give a percentage of all advertising revenue back to active communities to be spent on local projects. These projects will be picked by you and your community and not by us. We pledge to promote passion, not greed, to benefit the many, not the few. You can check out the rest of our pledges at www.appzaloot.com. There is so much more to come and we can't wait to see what we can all build together. So I invite you to join us and spread the word. We want to put the human back into humanity and the unity back into community. But we need your help. AppZaloot, in the know wherever you go.
Great. Where do I sign up?
Thank you. Xavier, just for the viewers and everyone to know, the video is a little bit outdated, and so we will have a new video up just before we do our major launch.
Okay, sure. And we do want to talk about that because we also have great news. Here I'm just sharing the webpage, which I mentioned before to our viewers. But once again, it is AppZaloot.com, as you can see below in your screens. Now, Max, a lot of questions here. It says that AppZaloot is a new social media platform redefining community interactions in your area. Now, we know the social medias that I guess we use all the time, which you have of course, the Telegrams, the Meta, LinkedIn, and so on. Can you explain us a little bit about your social media platform? What is it about?
Well, I think there's a couple of answers to the question, Xavier. Really, it's about fixing problems. Whenever you start a business, it's always good to have a a way of fixing some problem that already exists in whatever business you're going into. That's one thing. But the second thing is it's about connecting communities as well. So even though the whole world, we're all connected socially, sometimes it can be a little bit disjointed. Sometimes the connections you have, your data is being sold, your privacy is being compromised. A lot of these different things that happened in my own personal experience, my own family, my friends, people that I was around, different things that we experienced ourselves always had, apart from the good side, there was usually a negative. What we've tried to do at AppZaloot is actually take away the negatives. So we haven't reinvented the entire wheel. We do a friends feed, as you saw on the video, which is similar to other big social media companies that have a friends feed. The difference with ours is there's no advertising in it. We don't manipulate the algorithm. We don't sell your data. So therefore, what you're actually getting is if your friends are posting avocado on toast for breakfast, that's what you're seeing. You're not seeing an advert pop up into your feed. The local community feed is very unique. So that literally goes with you anywhere in the world. You have a toggle on the app where you can change your radius from 1 kilometer out to 25 kilometers. And literally, I could fly from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore, or Singapore to London, or Budapest, or wherever I might go in the world. I can pick up things that are being said by our users in the local community. And therefore, you give that ability back to being in the know wherever you go, using our tagline there. But what it's about, it's meant to be so that, especially as the world comes back to normal traveling and things, it's supposed to be a place where you could literally land in a city or a village or somewhere that you've never been before, go into the local feed, and you can ask the locals anything. You can ask them the best restaurant, where there's live music, I need to buy this or I need to buy that. You can literally, and you're communicating with locals as if you're a local, and that moves with you anywhere in the world. So there was a whole bunch of things that we wanted to fix, if you like, from existing social media, and that's what we've tried to do with AppZaloot. One key thing I will say here that's unique as well is we give small local businesses the opportunity to get connected to the people in their current vicinity. And that's quite disruptive. So people don't have to search on a search engine to find the best steak restaurant or whatever it might be. They could go to AppZaloot and find what's available in their locality.
Okay, several things there that I think it's worth digging into. The first one then is about the problem that you foresaw and motivated you to start the project. I think then, as you mentioned before, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, simply make use of something like social media was already existing and just apply it differently, which in this case, I think is more about the communities geographically being more, we can say, not restricted, but just in an X radius, you can just benefit from the social media interaction with the community there, right?
That's correct. Yeah, that's on the local feed. But bear in mind, we actually have 3 independent feeds. So you actually have the local feed, and that's the one where you change the radius of where you are in the current environment. Then we have the friends feed, which is similar to other social media. And that's your friends anywhere in the world, any time of the day. So it's just like the existing one, just with no advertising and no manipulation of the algorithms, and we don't sell your data. And then we have a third feed, which is it's called global feed. For obvious reasons, it's globally available. And it's also a place for, if you like, celebrities, influencers, sporting clubs, charities, businesses. They can go and set up a global profile. Once again, we haven't reinvented the wheel like you can on other social media. And they can promote themselves. And you as a user on AppZaloot, you have a choice of all these 3, depending on what you're doing. Talk to your friends, following an influencer, or asking the locals something, or sharing. You can also share information with the locals as well. So we have different feeds.
Okay, so 3 main feeds, and I think the first one, it's a big differentiator because I haven't really seen that. And then you're servicing, or you're providing to the users what they would expect from a social media platform, right? Which is part of the influencers that you mentioned, and also just the normal feeds from your family or friends, wherever they are in the world. Okay. Great.
That's right.
Okay, great. I got it. Now, what is the strategy to grow your user base in multiple countries?
That's a great question, Xavier. Actually, I'm going to share it with you and VCTV viewers today. Some very exciting news. We have a strategy to go, obviously, multiple countries, multiple languages. We're already have translated into a number of languages, and we'll be doing that as we roll out around the world. But we've just signed an agreement with a celebrity influencer that's just ticked over with 18.3 million followers around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And this influencer, I'm not naming today on the show, but I am actually sharing with you that the deal has been done. This celebrity influencer it has users all over the world, 4 million in the United States, all over Central and Southeast Asia, in Europe, etc. And this influencer will become an ambassador for our app. So the influencer will be setting up their own global profile on our app, on AppZaloot, and they will be posting there regularly. And maybe some things that are different to they put on other social media. They will also be out there to promote the app to the user base, their user base. So it's going to give us access to 18.3 million people all over the world that are going to find out about our app. And then there's also an advantage for them to join the app, because as we get it further into this interview today, I'll tell you a little bit more about our loyalty program. And there's a reason that the influencer benefits, the user benefits out of using AppZaloot. But just to go back to your actual question, we're going to be using celebrities in multiple countries around the world. So, of course, we need users. And, of course, we need to have businesses advertising and being part of our loyalty program. So we're already in negotiations with a number of very high-profile celebrity influencers in multiple countries, here in the UK, in Thailand, in India, user base, introduce the app, and by default, introduce our Zaloot tokens to multiple millions of people around the world.
Okay, great. So that'll be the strategy then. Okay, it does make sense. Now, that is your whole ecosystem, the business strategy. Now let's touch base with one important topic that is very key for our traders: the token. Right? Now, how does
Yep.
you do have a token now? How does the token get involved in the whole project and in the ecosystem?
There's a section on the website that will explain this in a little bit more detail, but we have Be Rewarded section on the website, and
This one, right?
that explains how you as a user, now obviously celebrities and famous people and sporting clubs, they have access to tens of thousands and sometimes millions of people. But what we have is we're introducing a loyalty program with my experience in previous years, as you will know. And what we've done is we've adapted a loyalty program. So if you remember earlier, I was saying about how businesses in a local area are able to promote themselves to the users that are in that area. So we're not pushing it in, we're not putting it into the friends feed or anywhere else. There's a separate little part where you can go and you can find out any of the special deals that are in your location. Now, those businesses can advertise there. That's one. Secondly, they can actually join our loyalty program, and it will be a global loyalty program, which means if you're in Singapore and you're using AppZaloot and you're going to our loyalty partners, but you fly to London, you'll still be able to earn loyalty points in London or Germany or, wherever you might be traveling in the world, wherever we have already launched and where we have our loyalty partners, you're going to be able to earn points. So where I'm getting to the point where the token's involved is that people, just by using our app, we're actually going to reward people by interacting on the app. We're also going to reward them by going to our loyalty partners. So if you buy a sandwich from a shop and they're a loyalty partner, you'll get so many points. You're going to be able to spend those loyalty points on a multitude of things. Like most loyalty programs, you're going to be able to get a flight or a hotel night or something like that. But most importantly, you're going to be able to convert those loyalty points into our Zaloot tokens at a 10% discount on the daily exchange rate. So once we're on LATOKEN, if the token was trading at $1 and you had $100 worth of loyalty points in your wallet on the app, you can transfer and buy the $100 worth of tokens at $90. So that's the first advantage of having our tokens and how it works together with the app. But we already developed and being integrated a wallet, which will be ready in the app with the loyalty program launch coming up at the end of May, early June. And we already have the capability to transact in tokens. So what it actually means moving forward is that our users, once we make it available to trade in Zaloot tokens, in our app, you'll be able to go to a store in multiple countries around the world and buy goods and services in Zaloot tokens directly out of your wallet. The development is already done for that. It's just about when we switch on the capability. What we're trying to do is get the token into the market, get users with the token, get people used to the app, and then when the time's right, we'll switch on being able to actually use Zaloot tokens in everyday purchases.
Okay. Now, a lot of questions in regard to this. Okay, the Zaloots token, then in one way, there will be a utility token, right?
Correct.
And in the other way, there will be a mechanism that supports the loyalty points, if I'm correct.
Correct. Yes.
Now, I know, Max, that we were talking before, you have been dealing with loyalty programs for banks, for MasterCards for several years. So you have a great deal of experience. Now, traders or people like me that do understand loyalty programs and points a little bit, not as much as you, obviously. Can you just take us a little bit as an example, like how can, for example, myself, how can I obtain those loyalty points? What do I have to do, and how do I redeem them?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, first of all, once again, like we do with everything, Xavier, we try and change the rules. We don't do just because it's been done a particular way before. We don't agree with that. If we can make it better, we will make it better. So how you earn loyalty points is, one, download the app and start using it. And by the time we integrate the loyalty program and wallet, which will be, as I say, the end of May or mid-June at the latest, once that's done, each country that we launch in will be signing deals with businesses, if you like. Mm-hmm. Now, for instance, in Malaysia, we've got an agreement with internationally recognized brands. The launch branding has 450 restaurant establishments in both Malaysia and Singapore. They will be a part of our loyalty program. So if in that case you were living in Malaysia or Singapore, you could immediately download the app and go and get loyalty points just by shopping at this brand. So just by dining, it's actually a restaurant chain. So just by going and dining, so changing your behavior and going there, rather than just getting the food that you're getting from the restaurant, you're actually going to accumulate or earn loyalty points as well. So as we build more brands to the loyalty program, and these will be mainstream. So think about all the different stores that are in a local shopping center. We'll be inviting from hardware to restaurants to retailers to clothing to shoes to all sorts of businesses. We'll be inviting them to join our loyalty program. And the advantage for them is it's bringing our users to their stores and hopefully increasing their sales. And for that, you get rewarded by earning points. So that's how you accumulate the points.
And then these points are later redeemed by zaloots?
Zaloots, yeah. So basically, we have an opportunity within the wallet, within the app, where you can actually, we call it in the loyalty speak, earn and burn. So you could go to the same store, shop, restaurant, whatever it is, and you can earn when you buy something from that store, but you'll be able to spend them there as well.
Okay.
So instead of paying for your sandwich, you'll be able to use your Zaloot points.
Okay,
So that's earn and burn. But if you want to get something like an airline flight or something like that, we'll have a redemption center. So you can say, and in your wallet, it's going to show you exactly how many points you have and what the dollar value is of those points. So you'll know. And if you want to say get a flight, somewhere, well, you could come to our redemption center and you can also use them for that. Or, and this is the thing that I think is very exciting, you can build up your points in your wallet and then convert them to the Zaloot token at a 10% discount in the daily exchange. So you can build your wealth.
Okay. Then just to recap a little bit, so then the merchants have agreed to accept Zaloots as a means of payment for whatever goods or services they're providing.
Correct. So
Okay.
as part of the loyalty program with the earn and burn, the merchants sign up to a percentage, because loyalty points are just like fiat currency, that they've got a dollar value. And so when they make an agreement with us, they have to pay to provide the user. They have to pay money to buy the points from us, if you like, which is then what are given to the user. So that's how it works. But equally, when someone comes in and spends their loyalty points, they get the money. So it's a great system.
It's a win-win scenario then.
And actually, Xavier, that's a very good point, because that you will find that goes right throughout the whole app. Everything we've done is that everybody needs to win.
Okay, great. I got it now. Understood. I did have another question. Oh, more like a question is a comment. Like for our viewers to understand, then I think they're used to have one of these cards that the banks will usually provide them for freaking, let's say miles and more is one of them. You go with that card and then you use it to buy something or to go to a restaurant, and then you'll be earning points, right? Sort of like a comparison, so our traders can understand a little bit.
That's exactly true. But there's a really funny thing, and the reason I'm laughing is because, look, we've all got a heap of loyalty cards in our wallet. You got it for the coffee shop, you've got it for this place, this place, and you can never save up enough points to buy a toaster. So it's kind of like, what am I in this for? What we're trying to do, once again, we're trying to change the rules. So our loyalty program, I believe very confidently, and I'm in the negotiations with multiple international chains at the moment, I believe we will have thousands of places in multiple countries that you can go and earn points, which means they all accumulate in one account, which means you're building your points up, your dollar value goes up higher, and you can actually do something with them rather than having this card for, if I go for 10 coffees, I get one for free. All of those things, they're all disjointed. And what we're doing is we're bringing everything into one super loyalty program. So you can earn points in a faster way. But it's exactly the same principle, as you said, with the bank programs or the air miles or miles and more from Lufthansa or Singapore Airlines points, whatever it is, exactly the same principle. Utilize the services. In our case, go to our business partners, earn the points, and you can spend them. But unlike a lot of other programs, we're not limiting what you can spend them on, because we're actually saying you don't have to spend them with us on an airfare. You can actually spend them back at a restaurant. So we're giving people more choice.
Okay. Very good. Now, this is going back a little bit to the merchants. Now, this is a very ambitious project because you want to basically acquire merchants in different countries around the world. I understand that first you're going to start in Asia, what we were talking, right? And what, for example, other big areas, geographic areas like Europe or the Americas, do you have a timeline for that to know when you're going to be, let's say, have, 15 countries in Asia, and then it's time to move on to Europe and then to Latin America or Americas?
Xavier, that's such a simple question to ask and such a difficult question to answer. And I'll tell you the reason why. as a business person, strategically, you would like to say to yourself, okay, so I'm going to concentrate our resources here, then here, then here, because that makes perfect sense from a business strategic point of view. However, when you've got a social media app that's available on the app stores currently, you can download it in 200 countries around the world. You all of a sudden, once you go out, and once our celebrity influencer goes out in a few weeks' time to 18.3 million people, the cat's out of the bag, if you know the expression. It's almost like you can't stop it. So what we'll be doing, and that's why I'm on a recruiting phase at the moment as well. So what our intention is as a business is to launch in Malaysia and Singapore at either the 31st of May or by mid-June at the latest. And the app's already translated in Indonesia, the Philippines, and then India. So that was our target. We've already translated the app into those languages, or the majority of those languages. And then the intention was to come to Europe, to all of us, to then have our celebrity influencers, our European-based celebrity influencers ready, and that we would go and roll out around continental Europe, the United Kingdom and Ireland, and then we would go into North America and Latin America. So that's the sort of strategic way we were going to do it. But I do know that I'm going to be spending a terrible lot of time on aeroplanes in the next couple of months, because once we actually launch, we will become, by default, busier and maybe quicker or more opportune business opportunities in certain countries before others. So, for instance, if we take off in Indonesia, then we'll put a lot of resources into making sure we build the partner network. If we took off in Germany, we would make sure that we put resources into building that. So we'll be a bit guided by where the majority of our people download the app. But from a business point of view, we have a strategy, but it'll just decide a little bit on where the users come from.
Definitely. Yeah, that will be, as you said, major task, and you're going to be traveling a lot.
Yeah. So I'll be getting lots of air miles.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You'll be collecting the points yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You should partner with the airlines, actually.
Oh, don't worry. There's a lot of things I can't announce today, but there's a lot of negotiations going on. And certainly that's one of them. There will actually be a travel component on the app. That's my background. So on the app in the not too distant future, there will actually be a travel booking service where you're also earning our loyalty points just by booking your normal travel. But I don't want to talk too much about that at the moment.
Okay, good. Now let's move a little bit back to the token itself. You mentioned a little bit about the benefits for investors. Now, can you explain a little bit more what can investors expect if they're going to be investing in your token?
Yeah, well, the thing is with our token, first of all, when you're doing an IEO and you're about to list a new token, a lot of the time it's all about, if we raise this money, this is what we're going to do in the future. The difference with us is we've already built it. We actually have the app. We've already got these contracts signed. We've already got these things actually happening. So you can feel it and you can touch it, if you like. So the project's very real. And with the token, what we aim to do is, ultimately our goal is to get many millions of users around the world. And I know that's very ambitious, but we've changed some things with the app, the way we give back to communities, the way that we don't manipulate the data, the way that we don't change the algorithms, freedom of speech. We don't have a lot of people there that are going to remove all sorts of content and things, as far as we can legally, of course. And so all of these things where we're different, it's what the social media environment's crying out for, and we think that we tick a lot of the boxes. So therefore, we're reasonably confident that we're going to get many millions of users around the world who want to use the app because of the benefits of the actual app itself. And then, as a benefit of that on the side, will be the tokens, growing your wealth, being able to use loyalty points on the app, then change them into Zaloot tokens. We believe that we're going to appeal to many crypto enthusiasts out there for them to actually buy our token and go on the ride. go on the ride of we have something real and tangible. And as the app gets more users, more members, that's a wider market for us to promote our own crypto to. And then in due course, to be able to utilize our crypto token in transactions. And if you think about that, multiple countries. So, what's our target? 184 countries in the world. It's a huge target. Now, is it going to take us some time to get there? Yes, it is. And what I would say to people that are interested in our token is I wouldn't be buying our token because you want it to go from the launch price of 10 cents up to 50 cents and then sell it. Because as I've got different things that I'm going to be announcing in the next few months, celebrity influencers. Oh, and by the way, for your viewers and for your knowledge, is my celebrity influencers are and will be token holders. So it's in their interest, as much as it is in my interest, for them to tell everybody. So, for instance, let me give you an example. If I signed a big brand name, let's say Nike, or let's say I signed a big brand name like Nike to our loyalty program in multiple countries, all of a sudden, that's going to give people an opportunity to earn more loyalty points. And then when we're trading with the token, more people to use and trade the token. So what we'll end up doing is, the way that we've strategized, is that we're going to end up with millions of AppZaloot users that are also Zaloot token holders that are also utilizing the app payments for tokens and loyalty points.
Okay. Good information, because, and I ask this question because I would like to notify our viewers today that we expect that on May 31st, then AppZaloot will be listed on LATOKEN. So you'll be able to go to LATOKEN.com. You'll be able to, with the ticker, look for the project, learn about the project, and invest in it. So it'll be listed in LATOKEN for May 31st. So we will make pre-announcements, especially on our Telegram channel. So please keep an eye on that. We'll announce it beforehand. We're going to do some marketing around it, so you will notify in advance. So then you can learn more about the project and become involved. Once again, to our viewers, please visit AppZaloot.com as featured here and below your screen, and you'll find all the information you need in order to make a decision. Okay, I'll leave here in the banner of the website so you can still take note and visit it. Now, it's really, really ambitious, Max. It's a well-planned project, a lot of work behind it. Now, this leads me to the second part. All big, serious projects have the roadmap, right? But now it's actually so hard to forecast what's going to happen in 1 year in advance, because you have the market conditions that we're seeing right now. You have the regulators. You have a lot of unexpected things happening. But if you could wish, where do you wish the project to be in 3 years from now?
So the crystal ball, I agree with you. And oh my goodness, hasn't it been a rough 2 or 3 years now for
It's a
all
roller
of us?
coaster.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster for everybody. It is a very ambitious program, app, and what we're trying to do. But because we believe that there's so many benefits, there's benefits for governments, users, communities. We even pay our correct taxes. It's in our pledges. So we're not going to offshore our taxes. And the reason that's important is because it builds hospitals and schools. That's digressing a little bit, but because we believe in what we're doing is the greater good, and we're actually giving a benefit back to everybody.
Yeah.
My hope and belief is that we will have tens of millions, and maybe if I was being bolder, I would even times that by 10 millions of users around the world that are happily getting benefits out of using our app, interacting, earning, growing their wealth with our token as well. The token being able to, could you imagine walking into a restaurant around in a back street somewhere, let's say in Venice, Italy, or wherever we might be in the world, where you can actually go in and either earn or use a Zaloot token to pay for your bill. that's fantastic. And that's the holy grail of crypto, as we know, is to be able to utilize it. So my goal is over the next 2 to 3 years is to gain millions of users of the app around the world, to have people robustly using our app for discussion in the open world, being able to discuss things without being manipulated, monitored, their data sold, etc. All of those things, and then being able to use our token in thousands of establishments all around the world and building wealth. So I hope that the millions of users will have millions of token holders, and by default, having millions of token holders utilizing the token, we should be able to build significant value into the token itself.
Yeah, I'm very confident of that because I think it's really like, as you mentioned, that was the initial idea to make payments easier, real time, no transactions fees or minimum transactions fees, no currency exchange, and so on, which until now has been proven a little bit difficult for the cryptos to do that. And I'm still surprised at how many merchants out there, they're not very open to the idea. Like, for example, I don't know, different services provided online that when I asked them, okay, would you do you accept USDT as a payment? No, only wire transfers. I'm like, gee, and I think it's a problem that it's not that they don't want it, it's just they're not educated enough, because they come back to me asking, what is a USDT? So when I explained to them, they're like, okay, that's interesting. So I think a lot of it is education. You have to educate the people for them to understand what are the benefits.
I am so happy that you just brought that up. Literally, it leads me into exactly that. It's about education. It's like, when I first started to learn a little bit about crypto, I'm thinking, what does that mean? And you have to go and do a bit of research. And you know what? I go out and talk to business owners all the time, obviously, with the app. And a lot of it is that they don't want to feel silly because they don't understand how something works. And then, of course, some media around the world has said terrible things about crypto and all these different things. And we all know that it's been overhyped and maybe the wrong things have been put out there. But there's one key point that I think we've got a unique benefit. I'm going to educate all of our business partners on a loyalty program first. And that's something they completely understand because it already has existed for many, many years. So I'm going to go out there first and I'm going to introduce them to earning Zaloot points. And those points have a dollar value, just like the Lufthansa miles or the Singapore Airlines miles or the Barclays card points. They all have a dollar value. Now, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I don't have to sell ice to the Eskimos because they already understand that. Now, here's the cool thing, though, Xavier. Once I've got them in the loyalty program and they understand that, when someone comes in and buys something, a certain percentage comes off the transaction and that pays for the points. Once they're comfortable with that, in due course, and this is already developed, I just have to turn it on when we're ready, we will be able to get them to be able to transact in Zaloot tokens. So all the difference is going to be is that in the same wallet on the same app, the transactions will just seamlessly go. So it's not like I'm going to have to go back into each business and go, oh, and now today we're going to start trading in crypto. Basically it's going to be a progression where they're already doing it in the Zaloot points. And then as we introduce the token as a payment option, of course, people are going to have the choice of fiat or using the Zaloot token. And so will the merchants, but at least it will be seamless because they're already used to the way it operates.
Okay, great. And I completely agree with you. If you can educate them from that point of view with something that they're familiar, they can understand, and gradually onboard them and explain the more wider view, then probably they will change. Their mentality will change and be more open, definitely. And it really is about education.
Look, I think you're totally right. And the other thing is that people become comfortable. And as you know, certainly in business relationship, people need confidence. They need to become comfortable. But once they're comfortable with a transaction going on, customers coming to their store or their restaurant or whatever it is, it's much easier to talk to that same business owner, or we're talking to national chains, it's much easier to say, oh, and by the way, next month, the users are going to be able to spend crypto as well. I think that's fantastic. And the education will be already on the way.
Very good. Well, Max, thank you very much for all this information. It's a really ambitious project. And to our viewers, please remember, you will be able to invest in the project from May 31st at LATOKEN.com. If you do not have an account yet, then please go to LATOKEN.com, open an account. You only need to upload one piece of document, one piece of personal identification in order to open an account. You will be able to review all the information about AppZaloot there and make your decision and invest in the project. If you want to learn more about the project at the moment, please go to AppZaloot.com as featured here under the banner. Please educate yourself about it, inform yourself in order to make the right decision. With that said, Max, do you have any final words for our viewers today?
All I'm going to say is absolutely. And that's why we've got the name, is because we don't realize how often we use the word absolutely. And so, I'd like to say to the viewers, welcome on board. Hopefully you'll come and join our journey with the app. If you get involved in the token as well, then what a pleasure. And I look forward to speaking to you again, Xavier. And I'd just like to thank everyone for their time today.
Max, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. It's a wonderful project. We really look forward to keep helping you out with the listing. And again, from May 31st, mark that date, please. And then, Max, again, great talking to you. We hope to see you again in the show. To our viewers, thank you very much for listening to us, and we'll see you at the next show. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Goodbye.